So eventually, Dan Troy came back to Lake County, and in Lake County, we know what he did a few years ago. He broke another record. He instituted the largest sales tax increase in Lake County's history. So everywhere he goes, he does what he does. He raises taxes. And whenever you raise taxes again, it hurts economic growth tremendously. And without economic growth, what does that mean? That means our kids don't have a future. That means we can't live the American dream. People need a future. And the future is not in government. I know my opponent likes to say that county commissioners are the purveyors of civilization. And without a properly functioning county government, civilization cannot exist. Civilization as we know it would collapse, etc. But civilization is promoted by hardworking people in the private sector that make a life for themselves and their families. And that's what we need to promote. So that being said, Brian, I'd like you to take a few minutes, present some of the things you've found. You've told me about a few of them. And would you want to have this podium here?
Yes, please. So I don't have a... All right.
Yes, my name is Brian Massie, just an average citizen, taxpayer, not running for any office. We started Lobbyists for Citizens some time ago, dealing with property taxes. That's how we started. I looked at my own property tax bill, went to I didn't like what I saw as far as the increases. I went to the county auditor. They gave me some great information, and I found that in a 10-year period, my taxes had gone up 42%. And I said, they're going to start pricing me out of my home unless we do something. So that got me started on the whole idea of trying to educate citizens in Lake County. And I make this statement, and I've said it hundreds of times throughout Northeast Ohio, that if we stay on this current path of ever increasing real estate taxes, we are going to price seniors and those living on fixed incomes out of their home. No question about it. Everybody knows that Lake County is aging. By 2030, probably a third of the people will be over 65. But that got me started on this community activism. We attend a lot of meetings. Mr. Serino would say we're virtually at every commissioner's meeting, a group of us. When I spoke to Ron Young, we called out Ron on a couple things that he had said that he had written about. And I said, Ron, I need to have you prove that to me. But what I like about Ron is that he called me right back. He got me the information to prove what he was saying was correct. He was honest and transparent. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that our elected officials in Lake County do just that. They're honest, transparent, have the utmost integrity, and they're men and women of honor.
Amen.
Brian Massie. I view Ron Young as one of those people. I said to Ron that I will support you with this one provision. You have to promise that when you're appointing people to the board, that it's not just friends, it's not just what they've donated to the party. You want to make sure that you have people that are not left of center, like I see in many of the boards. I'll even take centrist or right of center. Example, I went to the Port Authority. Again, it's one of the meetings that we go to. And thought just hit me, I thought I'd ask him the question. I said, does this board believe in the sovereignty of the United States? Art Lindros said, we don't even think about that. I found that curious. The Port Authority is thinking about the future of the United States, and they don't even think about the sovereignty of our nation? So the next commissioners meeting, I asked the commissioners, I said, do you give these guys oath of office? Or do you just stick them in the boards? I consider myself a patriot, and I love this country. I want to make sure that we were putting on these boards have the same feeling. And they don't believe in open borders. They believe in the sovereignty of the United States. Ron said that he would certainly look at that. That being said, my next hat that I wear, the lobbyist for citizens, we do not endorse any politician. We are strictly focused on issues. I told you about the property taxes. There's another issue that I just started, and we do a tremendous amount of research. I am concerned about what I have found out about Commissioner Dan Troy. I asked Ron if I could have about 2 hours. He says, you got 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to cut this a little short. But what I plan to do, I do have, I'll call it a dossier on Commissioner Troy. Commissioner Troy has displayed a lack of candor. How did he display the lack of candor? I don't know if you've heard about the Rider-In incident, but Commissioner Troy got sloppy. He got sloppy because he feels he's invincible. Pride got in his way. And you know what happens? You become prideful, there's destruction or fall after that. The Port Authority made they make quarterly reservations for their luncheon, the Riders Inn. They happened to put 2 signs out there. Elaine Crane put 2 signs out there promoting Ron Young and Pat Condon. Commissioner Troy saw that. He didn't like it. He wrote an email to Mark Rantella of the Port Authority. We got that email. And what he basically did, he threatened Mark Rantella. Do you know that I'm part of a group there that provides the funding for the Port Authority? Everything that I say that I can back up with detail. I posted on it on our website, lobbyistforcitizens.com. Again, I said we're apolitical. The Republicans are going to love us today. They may hate us next month. But we're going to call anybody out. We want honesty and transparency in our government. Ron Young can do that. There's another, I think, even a more concerning issue. What I did was, we did some research on the campaign's finance report. I did it on all the commissioners, and I posted it to the website. Commissioner Troy, I took from 2005 to 2018, did a lot of research. I wanted to find out how much in employee contributions was being paid to Dan Troy. I also wanted to ask the question, how much does it cost to really become a commissioner? I've got that number also. They're closing in on just short of $700,000 money and in-kind contributions since 2005. And I don't even have all of 2018 in those numbers. But what he has done is he's taken round numbers, a little north of $33,000 from 101 employees. Now that in of itself is not illegal. But what I've heard from 5 sources, that the corruption in Cuyahoga County started with employee contributions. We're saying we want commissioners of the highest integrity, and that there's no hint or even the slightest perception of them executing their duties in any improper way at all. So for Commissioner Troy to, let's say, go to the edge If you didn't do it, it's not illegal, it's just bad management. And it should be stopped. In 2000, when I did the research from 2005, I saw a hole in my chart for 2012. I went to the Board of Elections, and I have to give a big shout out to Tom Seymour. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure everybody knows Tom. A great gentleman, a great patriot. I said to Tom, I'm not adding up these numbers are not adding up to me. And he looked at 2012, he said, wow, there's missing information. He thought that the Board of Elections had screwed up. So he thought about it, then he called me and he said, no, Brian, 2012 was when Commissioner Troy was running for the state rep, and they would have the records. I said, well, great. He said, here's the email, here's the website. So I went to the website, and I found basic information, but not all the details. Then I went back to Tom. I said, Tom, it's still not adding up. Something's wrong. So what Tom Seymour did, to his credit, he did his job. He went to the state and he said, no, there's a citizen here that's looking for information that's not on your website. And what was missing was a report called a permissive finance report. Now, this report is required. Pardon me if you all know this, but Commissioner Troy, when he was commissioner, he had a committee that had a certain sum of money. When he transferred to become a state rep, there is a law that says the money that you can, quote, carry in, and that's the phrase they use in the revised code, is $35,000. And anything in excess of that $35,000 must be disposed of. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
That number was $42,618.91, if I remember right. Let's call it 42. There was $42,000 that had to be disposed of. It had to be disposed of by a certain date. I think it was 12/14/11. That didn't happen. Somebody screwed up. I think it was probably Kip Molnar. They probably lost track of what they were supposed to do. But the importance of when you miss that date, they actually filed it, I think it was in March of 2012. But what the political consultant told me, this was the kill shot. By not dispersing those funds by that designated date, he was taken off the ballot. He couldn't run for the state rep. Now, what did he tell? We've got an article from the Plain Dealer, 2012, I think it was August 2012, when asked, why didn't he run for state rep? He said he was overwhelmed, just overwhelmed by the people of Lake County asking him to stay as county commissioner. That was lack of candor, pure lack of candor. It may even approach a lie. It gets even worse. The $42,000, no one has been able to determine what happened to the money. I have sent Mr. Molnar and Mr. Troy so that no one can say that Lobbyists for Citizens is ambushing him. We sent emails to them in detail saying that we have created this timeline of events. Let us know if we're wrong. And what happened is they formed a fund, a nonprofit called the Lake County Governance Education Fund. There were high-priced attorneys down in Columbus, filed that. Then there was a series of nonprofits and change of agents, and it all got rather confusing. And I thought to myself, well, if you're going to give this money to charity and dispose of it like you're supposed to do with the law, why didn't somebody just write a check So why would you have to pay these high-priced attorneys to go through this convoluted set of nonprofits and for-profits, change of agents? It made no sense to me. So I've gone on record with Mr. Troy, I want to know where that $42,000 went. Also, I have verification that there is an Ohio Revised Code section that says that by not disposing of those funds, he couldn't be on the ballot. That's why he didn't run. I'm going to attend the commissioners' meeting tomorrow. I know when they see me sitting in that front row, those commissioners probably say, oh no, what is Massie going to talk about today? But I'm going to pursue this. If I don't get an answer, we will go to the Ohio Ethics Commission. I've been told by attorneys that if you go to the commission, once it's registered, you can't talk about it in public. So we will hold that in abeyance. But I'm willing to sit down with Commissioner Troy and say, this is what we know. Because what really happened was, it was taken off the ballot. The Democrats then decided that we got 3 people that are going to have to run because Troy's not able to. And John Rogers was elected for the Democrats to run. We then found in the finance reports, Commissioner Troy spends $10,100 for the Friends of Rogers campaign. 2012 was also the year that the land bank was formed, I believe. So 2012 was a big year for these people. I got 1 more minute. So, okay, I'm going to get the hook any minute now here. This all comes into the idea that the man feels that he is invincible. He's a bully. And I've got one thing, I want to also talk about another patriot in the room today. I spoke to Mr. Jim Gills on the phone, and he told me that he felt threatened by Commissioner Troy. I called him back after thinking about it, and I said, Jim, would you mind putting that in writing for me? I cannot write anything without documentation because it's viewed as hearsay. We're not into character assassination. We must have documentation. I salute Jim Gills for being a patriot and a man of honor. He wrote to me, and then exactly what happened, that Commissioner Troy asked him for an endorsement, support for Commissioner. Jim says, I'm going to stay out of it. I got in trouble last time I did that. I want to stay out of it now. Troy then approached him again. He says, your position is unacceptable. I'm not going to support the Vermont Road Bridge project. I'm going to post that so the people of Lake County know that. I then said to Jim, why did you give that to me? And his response was, that really got to me, Troy can't hurt me anymore. We have an individual that needs to hang up his spikes, as I wrote on my website. He has become too prideful, and he is a bully throughout the whole county. I've got other things to talk about, but I know my time is limited, and I'm just going to say, Ron Young, you have my support. You've got, I haven't decided completely what I'm going to do with this dossier, but the people in Lake County need to know, and I will get it to them.
You know, we need more men willing to stand up